Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist, and today's timeless reading, we are getting answers that you have been asking for. Each of the piles selected, or each of the cards out on the table, are based off of a concept from the Line Strider Tarot, which is the deck that I am working with. Let me grab this real quick. And in the Line Strider Tarot, they talk about a method of reading the cards that exalts the aces. So it essentially says that the aces become, if you ever pull them, the aces become the overall energy of whatever the question is, whatever the message is. And so as I was getting myself acquainted with these cards, which I am absolutely in love with these cards. They're so beautiful. As I was getting acquainted with them, this exalted aces just stuck with me. So I sat down with the cards, with spirit, with my guides, and said, what is this? What is it about this that is catching me? And that was when this reading came to the forefront. So what I would like you to do is to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Clear your mind of anything outside of yourself, any noise, any interactions, and think of a question, a topic, something that has been impacting you, something that you have been wanting, something that you've been healing, whatever it is that applies for your situation. Once you have that question or general idea of topic in mind, I want you to now take a look at the cards and then choose the pile. The timestamps will be in the description box below. As you are looking over the cards, I am going to put some music on for you guys so that you can tap in more to the cards. Allow the music to float you to where you need to be. Allow the music to help you to connect to the cards rather than the outside world. And we will find out what your messages are. I will leave you here and see you at your timestamps and at your piles. Hello, pile one. You chose the first card, the first stone. The crystal that you chose was an amethyst, and this is actually a banded amethyst. So it is amethyst, and I believe it's quartz. Let's put it, yeah, quartz. And it is actually carved in the shape of an owl. You also chose the card, the Ace of Wands. And this is such a beautiful, beautiful Ace of Wands card. It has a fox wrapped around the wand, and it has all these beautiful blue flowers blossoming all around it. It almost looks like the flowers are ribbons as well. So this is the overall energy, is the Ace of Wands. The Wands cards are all about creativity. They're this spark of innovation, spark of something new, spark of change, spark of something that you want to bring forth. They can be very ambitious energies. The Wands are as well fire energies. Within the elements, and especially the elements in the zodiac, fire energy is seen as the energy of spirit. Cups are, or water, is the energy of our emotions. Swords and air are the energy of our thoughts. And pentacles and earth are the energy of our physical body, our physical world. But it is wands and fire that are the energy and the essence of spirit. This tells me that you are ready for a spiritual reset, a spiritual restart, a creative blossoming kind of energy where you really want to wrap yourself up, much like the fox is wrapped around this wand. You want to wrap yourself up in this creative flow and allow for yourself to be swept away on this beautiful spring-like energy of, I'm going to create, and this is what I'm going to create. I am going to do this, and the world is going to stand at attention and take notice. That is the essence of wand and fire energy, and that is the essence of what this card is saying, what your energy is saying, and what the overall theme of what you're asking is. Even if you are sitting here going, but I didn't ask about anything creative. Be that as it may, what the energy overall is this new beginning, this new creative, ambitious, spiritual beginning in your life. And it is a beautiful flow together with this amethyst owl, because especially with a banded amethyst, you have amethyst and you have quartz. And quartz is an amplifier stone. It can give you clarity, give you clarification, clear out your energy, but it also amplifies whatever it is attached to. So this is amplifying amethyst, and amethyst is one of the most potent, most powerful stones, not just for calming and for peace, but also for connecting with spirit, for your crown chakra, for a deeper awareness and a deeper understanding. It is the essence of an amplification of spirit in your life. So we're going to move the stone off to the side here, and we're also going to move the card with the stone over here. So we are working with the Line Strider Tarot, as I mentioned before. If you missed it in the intro, go back and check it out. It's not very long, but that is also based off of the energy that we're working with here. And one of the things here is that we're going to be pulling cards. There are no aces in the deck left. because I designed it this way, we want to see what this overall Ace of Wands energy, not Ace of Energy Wands, Ace of Wands energy is helping you with. So I'm going to do a 5-card spread. The first card is going to be the essence of what you're asking about or what the topic is. Then we're going to do past, present, future, and then we're going to do a potential outcome for the original question. That's why I have left it as a clean slate, a blank slate. This also is designed to help you understand that each and every one of the Ace cards is a new beginning, which means that we are working with a blank slate, a tabula rasa, which is one of my favorite concepts. I love the concept of tabula rasa. And I first learned about it when I was watching the TV show Lost. And there's an episode that is called Tabula Rasa, and it was that I started looking into. And before we pull out the cards, the other correlation that we have here is what's called a palimpsest. P-A-L-I-M-P-S-E-S-T. A palimpsest. So what a palimpsest is it's a piece of writing or artistry. It can be in paintings, it can be in books, but it is a type of creation in which the original creation has been covered up by something else. And this can happen repeatedly, layer after layer after layer. So there are some artists, some painters who actually paint in this way. They'll do a base layer and then they'll top it with something. To get to the tabula rasa, you have to remove the layers of the palimpsest. So this is saying that in order to get to this blank slate portion of creativity for you, you have to scrape down or wear away or heal down the layers that have been piled on top of it from the outside world's opinions, from the childhood that you had growing up, from the people that are in your life that just don't support you the way that you need to be supported. Whatever it is that has layers and layers and layers of protection that you have put over top in order to create based off of somebody else, to create for yourself now, which is what Spirit is calling for you to do. To create for yourself now, it's time to scrape down, to wear down, to x-ray through those layers and to get down to your tabula rasa moment. That was, wow, pile one, you guys. I think it's absolutely beautiful watching this concept happen in my clairvoyance, because I'm watching it be almost as though your creative body is being worked on, and it's not an easy thing to have to tear these pieces down because of other people. It just isn't. But you're doing it. I apologize if you guys can see the camera like jumping continually. That kind of feels like it's part of this. Every time you take down a layer, everything seems kind of muddled, kind of muddy, kind of unfocused, because you just took off a layer of something that wasn't yours, something that wasn't you. And now you have to rebuild that. Wow. You guys have a lot of messages coming through, and I just saw 11:11 on my timer, so it's definitely something new. So Spirit, can we get the overall question or topic for pile 1. Okay. Then we'll do past, present, and future. I'm going to try and fit it in as it is. I may shift it around. And then the potential outcome. I want to make sure that they all fit in the camera screen. But I wanted to actually try using the structure because I like the concept of the cross here. And we're not actually going to work with the back of the deck energy today, which is quite unusual for us. But let's take a look. We have the Page of Swords. See, and you know how I said this, you may be sitting there thinking, well, that's not the topic. That's not what I asked for. It's because I apologize for hitting the microphone. This has been an ongoing thing. I think I might need like a lapel mic or something because this is just outrageous. You're asking here, and I'm going to be using this selenite wand. I've been working with it and with spirit. But you're asking here something about a thought that you have had that you may feel a little naive about. You may feel a little out of your depth with. I am caught up with these letters just kind of falling, almost as if they're falling leaves around this Page of Swords. There's all these little letters that are just floating down. And then the thing is that there's this right down here, and you can't see it very well, but right here, there's actually a blackbird, or, you know, I mean, it would be a very, very small crow. But it is staring directly at the figure in the card. So this is saying that the wisdom and the insight that you need is literally contained within you. But there's something here also about your inner child. When I see these letters floating down, I actually am being brought to Harry Potter. So Harry Potter in the very beginning didn't know he was a wizard. He didn't know all of these things about himself. He didn't know that what he was doing was magic. So he just thought that he was a very weird child and really strange things happened around him all the time. And he would get punished for that. So he would get punished for his own inherent magic. And for you there is a correlation here with your energy in which you're not realizing that some of the things that happen around you are because you're utilizing spiritual gifts. And they are gifts. They're not meant to be a punishment for you. They are gifts. But the reason why the letters are so significant is because the first letter that came in, Harry didn't get to read it fully. It got taken away from him, and then it was this, everybody was quiet about it, and everybody was like, there was a lot of fear. But what it did was make him think about himself. It made him think about his life and the people in it. It made him really sit and consider these things because he wanted to know what was in the letter. In essence, what was contained within those letters was his own freedom, his truth. The essence of who he was contained within those letters, and that was something that he wanted, but he was a kid. And so he was at the mercy of the Dursleys. You are seeking information, and the information you're seeking is the essence of who you are. But what you don't realize is Harry didn't need those letters necessarily. If he had asked himself, what is this that I'm doing? He may have realized a lot earlier by being within himself more and more of just who he was and what he was doing. So your wizard, Harry, that he heard from Hagrid wouldn't have come as quite such a shock. Now that wouldn't necessarily have made for great dramatic book moment. But in real life, we don't want the dramatic book moment. We want to know ourselves. And when you know yourself and you trust yourself and you trust the essence of who you are, that's when you get this spiritual beginning that you're looking for. This spark of creativity that drives you forward in a healthy way instead of an unhealthy way. This is all about you realizing what you contain within yourself without needing somebody else to tell you how creative and how inventive and how connected to spirit you really are. And I am guilty AF of still at times needing someone to remind me, hey, you channel amazingly. You are doing this. You are doing that. You are this person. And the messages that I get in those moments are always the same as they have been for years. But I go through these times in which I need that reminder because something isn't working out, or somebody did something, or I have said something, or whatever it is that has me in my brain contemplating my life. I end up needing that reminder. And it's almost as if you're getting to a place, a phase in your life where you don't need the reminders nearly as much. But then you question whether you're doing the right thing because now you don't need the reminders as much. There is so much just contained within these two. So let's look at the past energy that got you here. The Three of Pentacles. So this has everything to do with what you're building in your life. Not just within yourself on a spiritual level, but literally your physical world. Your home, your car, your job, your family, the things that you keep around you. I'm seeing somebody with furniture right now, and they're, even just changing up the way that you had the furniture in the house can change the perspective that you have on yourself, because it's that ancient technique of feng shui. Some people, myself included, had this natural understanding of energy flow when it comes to furniture placement and household decorations, things like that. It's something that I've been doing since I was a kid. You are one of those people that just has a natural knack for decor. And it doesn't mean that you have to take it and turn it into anything. It just means that the more that you have been focusing on what you're building, it has gotten you to this point of, I'm ready for something to restart. I am ready for something new. And in the past, you've put a lot of time into building something. Now, I'm not seeing whether or not that has been successful, because for some of you, I think that it just hasn't been enough time. But it has taken it, this thing that you're building, this life that you're building, the world that you're building, is making you feel as though you don't know who you are. So let's see what you're working with in the present moment. The Ten of Pentacles. You guys are really, really, really working on finances, on your security, on your home, on the things that you want. They have dogs, and 3 dogs and just 2 people. So this is kind of lowering down the things that you have had before, the way that things have been before. So in the present moment, you really, your huge focus is on finances. This actually kind of changes a lot that you don't realize is being changed. Because when you have this Page of Swords energy with the Ace of Wands, you have this mentality from your childhood that I'm picking up here, which makes a lot of sense with the Harry Potter now, that you are questioning how long it's going to take you to get to this Ten of Pentacles. It's not about whether or not you're worthy of it. It's about how long, like, Spirit, how long is it going to be? Because in the past, you were at the Three of Pentacles moment. there are still 7 more pentacles to go. That it's like, how long am I going to have to wait here? And that's because when you were a kid, you were told things don't happen overnight. Money doesn't grow on trees, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Anything and everything that you're told about impossibilities of this and that in the world, Spirit wants you to challenge those mentalities, those beliefs, those thought processes, because you can jump from the 3 of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles, and you're meant to be in the 10 of Pentacles energy. But if you maintain this mentality that you can't have this energy until you have aged, until you have gone through this, that, and the other thing, until you, whatever, the more you put in until, the slower any kind of manifestation comes in, the slower any kind of progress that you are able to see in your physical world is to come in. Because you're sitting there going until. So your energy is pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. You need to get this spark into your own idea of how things can come in for you, and open that wide and allow for even more to come in, and just say, you know what? I don't care how it does. I just know it's coming and it's here and it belongs to me and it will be here. And stop staring at it. Stop waiting for it. Let it come in. The more that you wait for it, the more that you push on it, the more you're pushing it away. And in the future, you have the 10 of Wands. See, this is what I'm saying. You have the power to control whether or not you shift into this everything is a burden, everything is too heavy energy. And that's because if you keep pushing this and pushing this and pushing this away, you're adding and adding and adding to this mentality. And some of you don't realize that you have a mentality because it's really, really buried deep into your subconscious mind. It's buried deep into this idea and perspective of the way that the world works, and especially the way that the physical world works. Not just the spiritual world, but the physical world. So this is a highly spiritual pile. This is all about the energy of spirit in your life. But if you're trying to manifest, you're trying to manifest with your logical brain, and it's not going to work. You want to work with the universe. You want to work with spirit. And I can feel that. But you're worried that working in this way is not going to get you where you need to be. Alternately, and I'm going to give you something completely different. If you think about the Ace of Wands, now you have the 10 of Wands. Look at how much spiritual prowess, power, understanding, awareness, guides, help, assistance you are going to have in the future. You have all 10 of those wands. Life is all about perception. We can keep continuing to walk down the path of interpreting the cards as we see them, or as they've always been interpreted, or we can think about the subtle nuances. There is something here about the subtle nuances for you that Spirit wants you to think about for the future. Is everything that you're doing, are you seeing it as something that's going to be a burden, or could you see it as something that you have the power to carry, that you have within you, and that is blessed and given by Spirit? Therefore, it's not a heavy burden. It's not a heavy weight. It is spiritual power. It is spiritual ability, spiritual gifts. And that's what you get to shift into. You have 2 10s here. That's not a coincidence. That ace is a 1. Here's a 1. Here's a 1. We have an abundance of ones. I saw 1111 on the clock with you guys. This is a new beginning. It is a new beginning of the the way in which you have shaped your own mind, your own life, your spiritual path, your place in the world, what you are here to create and what you have been creating. And then up at the top, which is not surprising whatsoever, is Judgment with the daffodil. And the daffodil is all about hope and renewal and abundance and happiness and joy. I apologize. My nose itches so bad. Oh my gosh. But if you look at this Judgment card, she's wearing a mask. She's wearing the mask and she's carrying the daffodils. She's covered in water. She's got like Gabriel's horn to open the gates. This is saying that you're the one that makes the judgment call about how you perceive yourself and how you work with spirit and how your creative flow moves. You're the one that makes that judgment call. But don't judge yourself. Your future potential, the potential of all of this situation, it lies 100% in the way that you perceive it, the way that you choose to move with it. And that's why you have this amethyst, the banded amethyst owl. Because an owl is all about wisdom. This is spiritual wisdom that is coming in for you about what it means to judge yourself, what it means to be judgmental of others, and how to move through that or out of that and spark something new, because you don't need to judge yourself on it at all. And it doesn't matter if the world judges you. That's for the world to deal with. You have all of the spiritual support. Everything is about perception. And this Three of Pentacles with the purple in the background definitely feels as though what you have been contemplating from the past has everything to do with a spiritual purpose. What you've been contemplating based off of what you've been building has everything to do with a spiritual purpose. Even your home and the way that you arrange your furniture has a spiritual purpose. You just may not always realize it. A lot of us don't. We kind of live in a world of narrow. And that's okay. We're going to live in a world of narrow. It happens. So this is the Eloquy, I believe, cards. And they are called She Who. This is getting in touch with your divine feminine energy specifically. I don't want you to think of this as gender specific. Think of this as energy specific. This is your divine feminine coming through. So we have She Who Listens and Hannah. Understanding, witness, and compassion. And then we have She Who Forgives, Elixir, remorse, guilt, and forgiveness. Okay, so your divine feminine is working on a lot of forgiving, the cleansing, the healing nature of forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself, forgiveness for others, so that you can see this in a different light. So you don't see this Ten of Wands as being something that is heavy and burdensome, but you see it as a blessing. You see it as all of the spiritual gifts that you have. There's also this essence here of combining these together. So your divine feminine is learning how to listen to yourself, how to listen to others in the outside world, how to have this understanding, how to share that compassionate nature with, and in doing so, learning how to forgive. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things we do, because when we get hurt, when we are hurt so much that we end up feeling guilty for even being hurt in the first place. Why did I let myself care about this person so much that they would be able to hurt me like this? Why Why? Just a lot of whys. That forgiveness and self-forgiveness especially can be very, very, very difficult. There is this need for you to understand that you are meant to be compassionate, not just towards others, but towards yourself. Give yourself forgiveness for trusting when the trust gets broken, but give forgiveness to the other person. The forgiveness that you give to the other person, it's not for them. It's for you. It's to alleviate this feeling of remorse and guilt and forgiveness. You know, you don't need to feel remorseful or feel guilty, and you don't need to take on other people's remorse and guilt. So giving forgiveness helps you clear that out, and when you clear that out, you come to a deeper understanding and a higher level of compassion. Some of you may be feeling drawn to becoming counselors, psychologists, someone in the mental health profession, especially between she who listens and she who forgives. Those two together screams psychologist, counselor, even just spiritual life coach. It's somebody who opens themselves up to hearing and helping. So these are the Moonology manifestation cards. We have the last quarter moon in Virgo. Attend to the details. It does not shock me that is what came through with the Three of Pentacles side, because that is what I feel like you've been doing a lot of, is finer details. But sometimes the finer details get bungled up. I don't know why the word bungled came through. I never use that word, but they get bungled up because of childhood mentalities or outside situations, or even just telling ourselves things that we need to stop telling ourselves. And then we have new moon in Libra. Know you are loved. And that is where this judgment and she who forgives comes in so strongly. Knowing that you're loved, knowing that you're worthy of love, helps you to give that forgiveness. And the Ten of Wands, if you do choose to look at it as all of these spiritual blessings, all of these spiritual gifts, one cannot deny the level of love from Spirit. I apologize. I keep doing that. One cannot deny the level of love from Spirit when they have these level of gifts. If you allow yourself to see the fact that you are loved and you are worthy of love, to know that you are loved, to know that you are and will always be loved. So let's get our final two cards. We have the Wild Rose. Do it your way. Embrace your uniqueness and untamed. This may be why this mentality has had you caught up on whether or not you could continue moving forward in a new creative direction or a new spiritual direction, or even just getting some sort of restart or spark, is because you are doing it your way. You are trying to show the world how to be this unique butterfly, moth, creature, whatever. Keep going that direction. Please keep going that direction. Don't judge yourself for being who you are, because who you are is meant to be that way, and that is meant to build something in the world. And then we have the Wastelands. Sustainability, slow down, and tend to your garden. The easiest way forward is inward, is what I just heard. It's like the easiest way up is down. It seems counterintuitive, but this wasteland is telling me that you're constantly doing this. You're constantly aiming for this spark. But you beat yourself down, and the longer that you tend to not embrace this part, this uniqueness, this untamed nature of yourself, the more you're realizing that there isn't a sustainability to what you're doing, because it's not true to you. So it's wearing you down, it's wearing you out. So now is the time to slow down, to take care of yourself. Just like I said, you have to give yourself compassion. Self-compassion is at the forefront. So this new start, this new beginning, as much as it seems like you're looking for somebody to send you something that will answer the question, you don't have to sit and wait to have your 10 of Pentacles. You don't have to say, oh, well, I can only have that when I am X amount of age, or until I've done this or done that. No. Embrace you. Tend to you. Tend to the things that matter within you and outside of yourself. And I'm seeing these two faces on this card. It's almost like you've got something on either side, back and the past and the future. Get yourself grounded into the now. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and heal. And watch as that spark takes off, and watch as your creativity takes off, because that's where you're going here. You may feel as though you're in the wastelands, but look, she is literally in an oasis, and all you have to do is allow yourself to see it. It is in these smaller details that you will see that. All right, pile one, this was intense. It was amazing. It was, wow. I don't know if it's going to make sense, but I am trusting that these messages are meant for you. So if this resonated, please like the video, share it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. And as always, I would love your comments, your feedback on how this resonated, how you're feeling, the whole nine. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between your... I apologize. I had to yawn. Your energies and mine, and I want to say thank you so much to Spirit for bringing forth these messages. Down in the description box, you guys will find links to my books on Amazon, as well as links to donate to my channel and to book a personal reading if you are so inclined. I want to say thank you one more time, and I will leave you here. I will see you guys at my next reading. Thank you again. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile two. If you chose the second card, you chose the Ace of Cups, and you also chose this red jasper elephant. Now, this is a brand new piece of mine, and the thing about this is there are a lot of different elephant figures out in the world. Most of them represent Ganesh, and that is a Hindu, I believe, Hindu deity who is the remover of obstacles. An elephant with its trunk up is said to be an omen of good luck, a welcoming in of good luck. Red jasper is a stone associated with the root chakra. This is your safety, your security, your stability, your sense of groundedness, and your sense of having a home within yourself and within this world. Some of you may have been having obstacles to this understanding and awareness that you are truly at home within yourself. That you, excuse me, I had the hiccups randomly. That you don't have to seek outside yourself for that. Now we also have the Ace of Cups here, and if you guys can see, I'm using my selenite wand today. So the biggest thing with this is you can see the blue, and the blue actually represents the water of the Ace of Cups. And there's even a W here to denote that, but all the water is outside the cup. This is a card of potential. So the aces are always seen as new beginnings, but waters are emotions. So there is this essence of gathering your emotions towards you to understand the potential of your life, of your heart, of your dreams, of your wishes, the things that fill you with emotional fulfillment. That is the essence of what we're looking at here. If you feel that this is you looking for new love, for grounded, secure love, then that is what this is for you. If you feel as though this is about self-love, then that is what this is for you. If this is just about clearing your emotions, then that is what this is for you. It's going to be different for each and every one of us. And I say us because, well, frankly, the Ace of Cups would be my choice too. I want you to take some time and look. You know, the cat, the eyes of the cat, one could look at those and be like, oh, that's an evil cat. But to me, the eyes are red because the cat has been crying out all of the water all around it. But its cup is empty. And it's got this string, and it's got a small, almost like a rune over top of it. Some of you may be diviners. Some of you may be called to water scrying. But what I feel very strongly with this is that we can pour out emotions, but we also have to pour in. It's time for a new way of emotional fulfillment in life, in work, in interpersonal relationships. And that is the theme that we're working with. So I'm going to be doing a 5-card spread. And get the cards shuffled up a bit here. Okay. I don't know if you guys are superstitious, but it has felt a lot like I needed to really do a lot of cuts with the deck for this one. And I'll get these organized in just a moment. All right. So this first card down on the bottom is the essence of the question that you're asking about. And if you aren't sure about a question, it was mentioned in the intro. So if you would like to take the time to go back and do that, listen to the intro and get in tune, by all means. I apologize, I just yawned. Usually that means that there's a lot of energy flowing through, but it also could mean that you're shallow breathing a little bit of stress, a little bit of anxiety can do that. Now, back to the cards. This bottom one is the representation of the question that we're talking about, with the overall energy of the new emotional beginning. What is it in a more specific light that this new emotional beginning is going to touch on? Then we have the past energies, the present energies, and the future energies that are going to be impacting this question in this area of your life. And this is a potential outcome for the future. All right, so let's take a look. So we have the Four of Pentacles. And just like I love this. So the Four of Pentacles is the card about holding really tightly to things because of a sense of needing security, needing stability. Now this is exactly what I was picking up with the red jasper elephant, and about needing to break down those barriers. So the essence of the question here is that you can try to build a stable foundation with physical objects in your physical world. That is what you're looking at with the Four of Pentacles. But if you want emotional stability and emotional security, emotional safety, you have to understand that it's actually creating more obstacles to be focusing on the physical world rather than your emotional world. So let's take a look at the past that impacted it. The Ten of Swords. Why am I not surprised? This is probably one of the most emotional Ten of Swords, because you've got this beautiful elk, I believe, here, and it's impaled with all these swords everywhere. Upside down, mouth is open, tears coming out. A Ten of Swords moment is like your own mind and everyone else's mind and everyone else's words and your own words have all suddenly coalesced to just utterly destroy you. And when this happens, we can feel as though our emotional body is completely and utterly drained. That we have nothing left inside of us to give, to work with, to try for, to keep going with. And when we get to that point, we can want some sort of stable foundation to cling to. Money can be one of those things. Physical objects. Houses, clothes, cars. We can cling to these things. I mean, she's holding all of these shirts and she's got necklaces and she's got what looks like a pendulum even in this card. She's all decked out. She's got all of her makeup on and she's carrying everything with her. And in the background you can see this like almost castle. She's carrying everything with her, clinging to it as though it's going to give her this sense of having what is in the background, this house, this home, this security, the safety. You do this because when you undergo a Ten of Swords moment, everything has now fallen apart. And so what am I to do? Like, what do I do now? Everyone I thought I could trust has broken that. Everyone I loved has hurt me, and no matter what I say, it seems to be blowing up in my face. So you cling and cling and cling. You chose the pile that was freeing you from the obstacles that are lodged in that root chakra that may very well have been there for years, if not your entire life, saying this is how it's always going to be. But this is in the past now, and it's time for you to understand that this is in the past, because if you want the emotional beginning, you have to let go of what happened before. A big way to do that is giving forgiveness. Whether you choose to forgive the other person or you choose to forgive yourself, the forgiveness that is given is something that actually alleviates most of the pain. I always say you give forgiveness to the people that hurt you, not for their sake, but for your own. I apologize for the pauses, guys. Your pile has me yawning. I am familiar with this energy, but I haven't touched it in a really long time. I haven't seen you guys here for a while. So your present energy is the Hermit. And I'm actually going to pull the future energy as well right away. The future energy is the Five of Swords. Please don't panic. Okay, we're going to cover the Hermit. And almost just briefly. Okay, the Hermit card in this deck, it has a bear. And the bear is it's the animal that knows about cycles. It knows when to hibernate and it knows when to come out of hibernation. When you go through a Ten of Swords moment like this, it can make you want to withdraw. And right now there is this essence of withdrawal, but what Spirit is coming through to say, and especially with this Hermit card, is look at all of the colors around it. Look at how you blend the reds and the oranges and the yellows and the greens together as you're in this withdrawal stage. You're bringing light and you're bringing color to your life, to your inner world if you do this and go within. Because then you're going to expel all of these emotions that you are feeling, cry them out, do whatever you need to do. And after that, look how clean and cleansed this bear is. Pure white. Now the Five of Swords in the future position is saying that this withdrawal period where you're going within, where you're learning about how to handle this Ten of Swords emotionally, and move into a state where you're not clinging, but you feel very secure in yourself. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, guys. I cannot seem to stop yawning. The Five of Swords is telling you that in the future, you're going to know when to fight and when to put the swords down. You're going to know when to act and react, and how to act and react in a way that is not going to land you back in this Ten of Swords energy. The Five of Swords is the card of change, and the swords are all about air and about communication. So you want to think about this in the sense of a change of communication style. You have gone through an ending period in which the way that you communicated and the way that others communicated with you led to you essentially feeling stabbed in the back continuously. Continuously. It has caused you to pull back, to pull away, and as you do this and you let go of the things that you cling to, and you realize that everything that you need for your own safety, security, and emotional stability is contained within your heart and your soul. You will move forward with this new style of speaking truth, with knowing when it's the right time to engage with somebody and knowing when it's time to step back and step away and be like, I'm not doing this. You can have your sword. I don't need it. This is a radical change. So let's take a look at where this could potentially lead. Beautiful. The Six of Pentacles. So we're moving from the Four of Pentacles to the Six of Pentacles. And if you can see, much of the emotional, the new emotional portion or new beginning, new emotional beginning for you is quite literally being dictated by your thoughts and the physical world. The Six of Pentacles talks all about balance and harmony. It talks about a give and a take. And it does not escape me that there is a bluebird or a blue jay on this card, because I literally saw one this morning on my morning walk between filming piles 1 and 2. Take that as your confirmation. I'm sitting here telling you that is your confirmation that this pile is for you. This is the right message, and it's okay. There is a balance, a give and a take. You know, I had a friend text me yesterday, somebody I haven't talked to in quite a while. I apologize if you could hear the noise. My dog Chunk just woke up. she's a little bit old these days and kind of needed to shake out. Anyway, so my friend texted me and she talked about some things going on in her life and talked about chakra resetting and Reiki healing, and I mentioned to her that I'm a Reiki Grandmaster and gave her my link to book a session with me. And, you know, she talked about having financial difficulties right now. And I 100% understand financial difficulties because I've been there a lot. And one of the biggest things about that is I know when the time comes that, I apologize, I did not mean to hit the microphone. I've been doing that a lot lately. I do apologize for that. But one of the things that happens when you go through a lot of business training, they say, well, you push your business and you do this and you do that. And it's really not good for your business to give away free secrets or stuff like that without there being some sort of backup incentive to spend money. Be that as it may, my take on it is if I have information and I have different techniques and different tools that I use personally that don't cost me anything, why would I not share that with another? Because the universe has a way of balancing things out when you help each other. When you cling to what you think is necessary for your stability and your security, and you don't take into consideration that there is a balance to everything in the universe, nothing can be balanced out. And then you end up in this 5 of Swords, 10 of Swords, back and forth energy. And you don't want to have to keep going through that. That's why you're here. So let's get a little bit more guidance. This is the Eloquy deck, and we're just going to get cards representing the divine feminine energy within you. And I want to be very clear, this is not gender specific, but it is a deck called She Who, and this is about your divine feminine energy, your receptivity, especially with working with cups and emotions. This is about learning how to be more receptive, or just gauging where your divine feminine is or what your divine feminine is calling for you to do. So we have She Who Avenges, Nemesis, Revenge, Outcomes, Justice. And then we have She Who Resists, Adaz, Fearless, Justified, and Resistant. All right. So, first of all, remember when I said that when you get out of this phase, you're going to know when to engage and when not to engage. Nemesis and Adaz, and I may be butchering that, I apologize, are both talking about justice. Justice and justified. This is knowing when to engage and when not to engage. Knowing when to say, I am not going to be this way anymore, but not clinging. It's the fearlessness that you're moving into is saying, I don't need to avenge because the universe will do this. This 10 of Swords can make you want to lash out. That's not your way forward. This is two sides of learning how to take this sense of I need to take revenge into understanding and a justified approach to resisting other people's thoughts, actions, behaviors, saying, you know what, I am not going to engage in this anymore because this is not balanced and harmonious in my life. This is what I deserve, and I am demanding that because I deserve it. This is the outcome that I know is meant for me, and I will not accept anything other than that. I absolutely love these two cards together because the way that it works is that you look about She Who Avenges is purple, And then she who resists is yellow. So this is about the crown chakra, understanding the nature of how things play out and knowing that you don't have to be the avenging angel because you are surrounded by avenging angels. So you can just allow this to happen because there are many who have hurt you in the past and they will get there. You will see justice in this situation. One way or another, you will see justice. So be fearless, be resistant to anyone else's beliefs and opinions, and know that you are worth more than what anybody says. Wow. All right. So we have the last quarter moon in Aquarius with reflect on your priorities. Absolutely. And look how beautifully the colors match with She Who Avenges and Nemesis. And then we have the new moon in Sagittarius. Oh, focus on the positive. I apologize, guys. I keep hitting this microphone. I said in pile 1, maybe I should get a lapel mic because this is just getting outrageous. So what this literally is saying here is this revenge thing, is that your priority? Is it the right priority to have? Do you want to be focused on what everybody else has done to you and taking from them the way that they have taken from you? Or do you want to focus on what is important for you? What are your priorities in life? If your priorities are honesty, justice, harmony, balance, then you have to embody those things. You can't be in an energy of revenge. Regardless of how painful it has been, you can't sit in that energy because it's not going to help you. Know that when you step fearlessly into yourself and you say, you know what, this is what's right for me because this is who I am. And you say, I don't care what anyone else says. I am going to stand firm and true to myself, to my future, to my path. I am going to go forward in the way that I am meant to go forward. When you do that, that's when everything falls into place because you know your worth. Now you know when to engage and when not to engage because you are 100% fearless and you are 100% justified in your stance. And it doesn't mean that the other person doesn't have some sort of justification for how they feel. I'm sure they do. But this is about you knowing what is right for you. Reflect on your priorities. Because when you reflect on your priorities, you can see, is this focusing on the way that people have hurt you in the past helping you get out of this hermit energy and understanding when to engage and when not to engage so that you can live a more positive, focused, happy, spiritual lifestyle? Or is it keeping you stuck in this, I'm angry, I am pissed off, I am hurt, and I am not filling my cup up because you're not filling my cup up? And some of you may be resistant to this very message right now. And I understand that. Go ahead and be resistant to it. It doesn't change the purpose of the message. It doesn't make it any less important for you. You have the power to overcome the things that you resist, to knock down those barriers and to realize you don't have to justify yourself. Because you being you is justification enough for moving forward, for saying this is what's right for me and this is what's wrong for me, and knowing that that's going to be respected because it's worthy of respect. Just like you are worthy of respect. Let's get some closing messages. We have healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. It's safe to soften. I've been saying that continually. You don't want to stay in this hardened revenge state. Let yourself heal. When you reflect on your priorities and you really get in touch with yourself and you embrace the fact that you're healing, this hermit phase will not be quite so difficult for you because you'll start to see how you're healing through it. Everything that you want in life is meant for you. If you have dreamt of it, if you have it written in your heart and you know it, it will come when the time is right. So give yourself the grace and the forgiveness and the patience and allow this healing to happen. You are not broken. That is one of the most important things. You are not broken. It does not matter what anyone else says or does to you. You are not broken. You are strong. You are a survivor. You are not broken. You are whole. You are healing. You are healed. Trust the process that you're in. Trust spirit. Trust your guides. Trust your heart. Trust your soul. Know that you don't need to be hardened and firm and keep moving through life in that way. You can soften yourself up and say, you know what? I don't want to engage in this anymore. I want balance. I want joy. I want abundance. Your final card is the Return. A new story. You decide. Alignment. It's coming together. This, you decide. You decide. Because you're deciding moving forward how you're going to engage. What you're going to engage with. What battles you want to face. What battles you want to fight. Whether you want to fight any battles at all. I just heard I don't want to fight a battle. I'm so tired of battling. And I understand that. I do. Because I've been there. I have done that. I have said those things. I am so tired of the fight. I'm so tired of the struggle. I'm so sick of this or sick of that and blah, blah, blah. I have been that person. When I say blah, 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 I'm literally quoting myself. You know how you get into a state where you're like, this sucks, and then you can't get out of the mindset that this sucks, and you just spiral over and over and over again. This sucks, and then something else sucks, and then blah, blah, blah. Keep going. I don't know why I'm doing blah, blah, blah so much today. It just comes out. Anyway, you're doing all of these things, and then suddenly you hit a point, and one day you're like, I don't want this to be how I move forward. So now it's time for you to write your story. Focus on the positive. What do you want in your life? What positive do you want in your life? Don't focus on what you don't want. Don't be like, I don't want friends that are going to stab me in the back. I don't want a significant other who's going to lie to my face. I don't want this. I don't want that. Don't do that. Say, this is what I want. I want honesty. I want integrity. I want justice. I want balance. I want harmony. I want peace. I want love. I want joy. I want this. Say, those are what I want. Now that you've done that, write your story as not as I want, but write your story in the essence of I have, I am, I will, I do. All of these things that are possessive and present moment. You want to show the universe, this is what I want, and I'm going to take it because it's right for me. It's written in my heart. It's written in my soul. That means it is meant for me in this life. And damn it all, damn everyone else who wants to doubt me, I will prove each and every one of you wrong. Let that be your revenge. Prove them wrong. Prove to them that the way that they hurt you cannot hold you back, cannot slow you down. Prove to them that the way in which they have beat you down and lied to you and hurt you and used you and abused you has done nothing but strengthen you and made you even stronger as a light and a presence of joy and love in this world. Write the story that is the one that is right for you, and know that everything that is right for you is coming together and coming in for you because it belongs to you. Wow, pile 2. I hope this helped. I pray that you find peace and solace in this. I know that I felt quite a bit of resistant energy in and of itself. Doesn't surprise me because I got the card, She Who Resists. But I did feel it open up a bit more. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for opening up, even as resistant as you may have been. Thank you so much to your guides and my guides for connecting us together here today. And thank you to Spirit for bringing forth these messages so loving, so harmoniously. If this video resonated, Pile 2, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And let me know down in the comment section below, how are you going to start your new story? Down in the description box, you will find links to my author page on Amazon. You will also find links to donate to my channel or to book a personal reading, as well as links to my program, Breaking Boundaries, Finding Freedom. Don't miss out on these awesome creative projects. If you guys enjoyed this, you will love those, especially the books. It's pretty much like just sitting down and having a conversation with me for hours on end. So if you enjoy what I speak about, get to know me a little bit more through my writing. All right. Pile 2, thank you again for being here. I love you all. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the third card, you chose the Ace of Swords and these two celestite crystals. Celestite are high vibrancy, high vibration, high frequency crystals. And they have this beautiful blue hue to them. And they are attuned to the angelic realms. And the big thing about this is, you know, I had only one crystal out and felt really called to bringing two of them. And I understand a little bit more why now when I was called to match them up with the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords, and this one in particular, has an eagle with a crown on it. And the eagle, you can see, you know, they talk about eagle eye. And the sharp insight and perspective and view of the eagle. And the swords are about your mind, mental clarity, mental strength, mental fortuity is the word that I just heard. And this is about understanding the sharpness of your own perspective, but also knowing that there are two sides to everything. Just like they talk about a double-edged sword, there are two sides. And that feels like why I was called to use two crystals. We can have a specific perspective, a specific outlook. Wow. For a communication card, my words are getting jumbled. We can have these perspectives and these insights and this outlook, and it can be very specific to ourselves, our situation. But we also have to understand that there is another side of that. Other people have another side. Other people have other perspectives. And it doesn't make ours wrong, and it doesn't make theirs wrong. It doesn't make ours right, and it doesn't make theirs right. It means that there are differences. Now this Ace of Swords card, as you can see here, and as you guys can see, I'm using my selenite wand today. It has these yellow leaves and yellow crown and a yellow beak. This is about your solar plexus chakra. This is about your personal power and your personal mental strength. Mental fortuity is what just keeps coming through. So we're going to move this to the side. This mental strength and almost dualistic perspective nature is what we will be working with moving forward. So we're going to go ahead and get some cards for you guys. Every time I put cards up in the corner, the camera doesn't want to fully focus. So I apologize for the in and out. They can get a little dizzying. At least it does to me. So, and as I mentioned before in the intro, in case you missed it, I'm working with the Line Strider Tarot deck, and we are getting answers to the questions for your new beginnings. So, okay, that's interesting. So I just heard past, present, and future for these. So we've got past, present, future. They just kind of fell out themselves. So we're going to go with what Spirit has asked for. All right, let's get these neat and organized somewhat. I'm working with a smaller space, which is why I have it clear up here. But you guys may have been called to another pile. If you were, I would say go check that pile out. I don't want to mention the pile specifically because I don't want to influence anyone. But if you were genuinely called to another pile, I feel like there are messages for you, just because I just got a very similar message, but knew that it was not for your pile. It's just for some of you. So if you are one of those, go ahead and go check that other pile out. Okay, so let's talk about the placements here. This first card we have is actually going to be about the subject of what you are seeking mental clarity on. And then we have the past, present, and future energies that are going to be influencing this topic in your life. And this is the potential outcome. And then we're going to get some oracle cards to check in on your divine feminine energy, to check in with, some of the moon manifestation and moon cycles that are impacting you, as well as check out the rose oracle for some closing messages. So let's see your topic first. We've got the Four of Wands. So Four of Wands is the 1111 card. It is the card of celebration, of bringing together two things. And again, we've got the two crystals, we've got two rabbits, we've got two sets of two wands. And in traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Four of Wands is about marriage. It's one of the marriage cards. It's one of the harmony and coming together cards. This is about clearing out your mind in interpersonal relationships. And some of you may be married, some of you may not be. But I personally am married, so I'm being called to give, caveat, because I feel like some of you are new here and new to channeling. Oh, I apologize for the gigantic noise. That would be courtesy of my cat Bella. However, we'll take that as Bella confirming. Some of you are new here and new to channeling. So when a channeler, such as myself or any other tarot reader, sits down to channel messages, we all act as filters for Spirit. So Spirit speaks to us in ways that we are able to grasp and understand and teach others. And we do that through our own personal experiences. The reason why I say this is because I have been married twice in my life. I have had several long-term relationships, but really the two most prominent relationships in my life have been my marriages. And I am married now. But this is more about the difference between what I had to learn about my own mental space and my own personal power in regards to being in a union with someone else. In my first marriage, I deeply sacrificed my own perspective because I did not want this dualistic nature. It was a very toxic, very I was subject to DV and SA from my former spouse, my ex-husband, and undergoing those things. And some of you may be familiar with that. You may be survivors, such as myself. If you are, welcome. This is a safe community for you. This is a safe space for you. And you will find communion and community and harmony here in a way that I hope helps you know that you're not alone. That being said, something that I learned is in that first marriage of mine, I was very, very afraid. I was afraid to rock the boat. I was afraid of the double-edged sword. I was afraid of what could happen to me if I were to challenge anything. So I allowed my perspective, my belief in myself, and my personal power to be completely and utterly sacrificed. In the marriage that I am in now, it hasn't always been easy, but we have worked really hard to both be heard and to both be seen and to both have our lives and have our life together. It's not always easy, and the times, like, we do still struggle, but we find our way back to this clear, concise communication, and that brings us back to harmony. So if you are in a relationship and you're struggling with how to speak and how to talk, one of the biggest things you can do is adopt a hanged man energy. So the hanged man to me is always about a perspective shift. You know, the hanged man, you can tie it to Odin and the tree of life and how he willingly hung upside down from the tree of life for 9 days straight so that he would get the wisdom of the runes. Sometimes you have to shift your perspective. Sometimes you have to flip things upside down and see it from someone else's viewpoint in order to understand what all the aspects are. Because whether you're right and they're wrong, or they're right and you're wrong, it doesn't matter. What matters is putting each other in each other's shoes and speaking truth and being honest. That's a huge proponent, being honest. And if you cannot stand in your personal power and know what your truth is, you can't expect someone else to be truthful with you. So let's see the past energy. We have the Six of Cups. Now I get why I needed to tell that story. And I love the two lemurs. It's so adorable. But the Six of Cups is the card of memories of the past, of things that came before. And it can actually denote romanticizing certain things. So you could be looking at something in the past and be like, oh, that was so much better. Oh, this was such a better thing. But the trick here, or the message here, especially with this Ace of Swords, is that way of thinking is actually a double-edged sword. Because if you're looking at the past, any kind of past, whether it's the past in your current relationship and you know, when you're in the honeymoon phase and you're like, oh, it needs to be that way, or you're looking at a past relationship and doing a compare and contrast, or you're looking at your childhood and the way that you were raised, and anything that you do when you're looking back and you're thinking, oh, that was so much better, it actually negatively impacts what you have now because it places a seed of doubt. So when you look at it, say, okay, this was different. Let's look at how the differences are between that past relationship and this one, and how can we bridge harmony into this one based off of the lessons learned back then. That way that emotional connection, which is understandable to be there, that emotional connection that you feel, you were able to heal through it and apply the lessons into the now moment. Let's take a look at your present energies. We have the Eight of Pentacles, and we're going to actually flip the future too. And the Magician. I love this. You guys, honestly, I love this. Anybody who is coming here and wants a fresh, clean, like, clarity moment, you want just like a blank slate brain, you're working on it. You're working on it. You're working on it. And a lot of you are working on it because of love, because of harmony, because of union with another. Whether that is in your work life, in your social circles, whether that is in your personal life, because, you know, the Four of Wands is the relationship card. Whatever it is, you really, this Eight of Pentacles shows me you really are doing the work. You want to perfect this thing. And the thing that you have to remember is I don't care what anybody else says. Yes, I believe that we are perfect as we are per a soul level based off of what spirit and love is. Like, we are all equally perfectly made to be loved and to give love. But we are not perfect as humans. And that is one of the greatest beauties in this entire journey, is the fact that we are perfectly imperfect. That means that we should love our flaws and learn to love others' flaws. And that's something that I feel really strongly with this Eight of Pentacles you're actively working on. I'm going to love all of me. I'm going to love all of you. You're also learning how to take this understanding and emotion and kind of reminiscent energy from the past with the Six of Cups and see what you have now and learn how to blend those positives together and do that so that you can move forward in a way that really brings you together. The Magician card talks all about whether or not you're going to overcome the monkey mind, which with the Magician card sitting here and the Ace of Swords, this is literally clearing the monkey mind and seeing all the resources that you have all around you. Sometimes a resource that you have around you is literally your relationship and you don't realize it. So let me tell you a story. My husband and I went through this situation in which he withheld a truth for a duration of time. And one of my big things is honesty is always the best policy. You know, my number one rule is don't lie to me. I abhor lies. It's something that it is so deeply hurtful to lie to a person that when it happens, when someone I love lies to me, it's really, really hard for me to rebuild trust. However, when my heart is in it, I will do it. Now, the reason why I talk about that is because my brain could have gone in a million different places. But the truth is that when love is at the foundation of anything, the mind will tell you whatever it wants to tell you to try and destroy what the heart feels. But the heart will always outweigh. Now, it doesn't matter one way or the other whether he and I didn't see eye to eye in that situation, whether it was something that hurt me or not. It matters that he told me in time, and it matters that when it comes to the absolute essence of who I am and what I do and all of this, especially these projects that I do, my tarot channel, my writing, all of these things, he is 100% my cheerleader all the time. He gives me the love and support of a best friend, of a spouse, of a confidant. And that is a resource. Honesty and communication are resources. And there's Bella chiming in saying yes. Hi, Bells. Do you want to come say hi? Come here. Come here. Sorry guys, she's being quite distracting. See, and she's so fat. I was gonna show her to you, because she is like this fluffy Siamese cat, and she demands love and affection and praise, especially praise when it comes to Nerf darts. But if you make a move like you're gonna pet her, and you're sitting like I'm sitting in my office chair. She is about 5 feet away from me. I tried to call her by going like this. She literally just slumped over like, no, come to me, human. Anyway, we got a little bit off track. Monkey mind, guys. The point here is the more that you work on yourself and trusting yourself and loving yourself, the more that you're able to see all that you contain within you. But you're also able to see that interdependency and codependency are two dramatically different things. Independence is also dramatically different. Me personally, if I had to choose between codependency, interdependency, and independency, I'm going to choose interdependency because we're a social creature by nature. We want and desire love and have love to give another, and therefore an interdependent relationship in which you are both uniquely yourself and you both do what is right for you and still come together, work together, love each other. That is the pinnacle to me. That is the pinnacle. And I apologize if you guys can hear the noise. My stepson Hayden is home today and he just got done with breakfast. So the future progression of this is the Knight of Pentacles. You guys literally have all of the elements on the board with the Magician. And the Magician works with literally all the elements. Blending them all together, taking all of what he has to work with and works with them in order to create something phenomenal that he needs. I know that we can look at the Magician and be like, well, he does a couple of magic tricks and he makes some money and then he becomes the High Priestess. That it's so much more intricate than that. Can you imagine taking something and building it from nothing, just from the elements around you? Earth, air, water, fire. It is the essence, the purity of back to the beginning. And you know what? If we think about it in that sense, it's kind of, this Magician card is kind of calling you to understand that at one point we were all primates. I mean, if you believe in evolution, we were all primates at one point. So anybody else acting like their animalistic nature, we all have it and contain it within ourselves. And that means that it is actually a resource. It's not a hindrance. It just depends on how you see it. And you're moving into the Magician where you're going to take all of the lessons that you've learned and all of the perfections that you have been working on, and it's going to help you in the future. So I'm going to do a couple shuffles here. All right. So these are the Eloqui, I believe is how you pronounce it, or Eloqui, oracle cards, and they are called She Who, and these are meant to be your divine feminine energy cards. So we have Orchid, she who thrives, flourish, prosper, and blossom. And then we have She Who Resists, Audace, fearless, justified, and resistant. Okay, that feels better. All right, so, yes, that's better. One more. I don't know why, you're the only pile. She Who Waits, Manara, patience, waiting, and determination. She's going to go up here for some reason. She just, there we go. All right. So one of the big things, we're gonna jump straight to your third card just because it was really deeply called for. First of all, if you guys are seeing butterflies, don't be alarmed. I did actually see a yellow butterfly this morning as I was walking in after my morning walk. So that is definitely a sign for you. I saw a yellow butterfly, but we've got yellow and blue. These are like monarch butterflies, but different colors. It's beautiful, but it's this white one. You've got the white butterfly or even a white moth. A white moth at night with like a porch light, so it actually has that glowing look. If you see this sign, or when you see this sign, within the next 3 weeks, I have the feeling, because you can see 3 of her fingers here, know that this message, this shift from the Eight of Pentacles into the Magician is occurring. But this is asking you to understand that there is a patience and a waiting game that comes with clearing the mind, but you have to stop being so resistant to it. So this card can go one of 2 ways. It's one thing to be fearless. It is another thing to say, I am going to, it's my way or the highway. Because when you go, it's my way or the highway, now you become resistant. And it is the same thing that I said about when you look at the past and you say, that was so much better, or I wish we could return to this, or I wish it was more like this, you're creating resistance in your current relationships. And that resistance gets really, really challenging for you to rebuild here. But what this is saying is, if you can understand that you have the power to, now we're going to take resist on a different way. You have the power to resist the negative mindsets that come in. Because there is this waiting game with the Knight of Pentacles. It's the slowest moving knight. So you want to flourish. You want to succeed. You want to have this clarity of mind, body, soul, heart, relationships, family, money, the whole 9 yards. You want the whole 9 yards, the whole package. You deserve the whole package. It is what you're here for. But the Knight of Pentacles is asking you to understand that it's okay to wait and to let this shift happen, because when this shift happens, like I said, you'll see the sign. When that shift happens, you will start feeling more like she who thrives. You will start to feel more like Orchid. You will know that you are blossoming, you are flourishing, you are prospering upon all of this because you have learned how to work together with others while building yourself and building everything with the resources that you have to work with. You know, all of these messages have taken such dramatically different turns than I expected. You guys, if you're new here, you don't know, but if you're not new here, you know that I very often don't talk about relationships. I don't like doing relationship readings. And yet today we're doing relationship readings. So it's what the collective is asking for, I guess. So we've got New Moon in Scorpio with Go Deeper. Yeah, this go deeper, absolutely, because when you're sitting there looking here, you're looking at something else instead of looking within. Now, this is an energy that I feel as though you guys have tapped into. The new moon in Scorpio from last year would have been in, I believe, October, November time frame. November 4th. Wow, I remember that, very specific. I wrote a very detailed blog post about it because we were in the Mercury or the Saturn squaring Uranus during that time. So this is asking you to go deeper inside of yourself to find out what it is that you're so resistant to. Be very determined when you do this. Scorpio in traditional astrology was ruled by Mars. Even though Mars has relinquished rulership now to Pluto, there is still that imbued Mars energy, which means that you can still harness that determination. It also means that wherever Mars falls in your natal chart, there is that energy flowing into anywhere that Scorpio falls. So think about it as, if you have Mars in Cancer, then you've got this watery determination, this emotional determination, this understanding of the way that emotions can fuel, can drive you. Now you're going to funnel that into Scorpio to go deep within yourself, within your relationships, within your job, within your career, whatever it is, to go really deep and then to transform it and to elevate it. And you know, the second level of scorpionic energy, you have 3 levels of scorpionic energy. The first one is the Scorpio. The second one is actually the Eagle. So this is a huge transition moment. Just like I said, you're transitioning from the 8 of Pentacles into the Magician. You're also getting that higher perspective by going deeper into this scorpionic energy. And then we have first quarter moon in Virgo with assess the situation. And this is, again, what you would be doing with this going deeper. You're going deeper and you're looking at all aspects. The assess the situation is 100% this 8 of Pentacles energy. Because when you go into, and especially with Virgo, Virgo is a very, I need to assess this, and this. But Virgo is also deeply psychic, deeply intuitive, constant channeling. I have my progressed ascendant in Virgo, and I can flip-flop between the energies. Sometimes I like to be in my Leo energy. Sometimes I like to be in my Virgo energy. And the funny thing is, as we were talking about relationships, my husband is also a Virgo. And we were talking about something foolish in the car the other day. And he said to me, he said, how can you not look this up? Like, how can you say, I think it's this way, but I'm not 100% certain, and not have the urge to get Google out and look it up? And I said, because I'm not in my Virgo energy, so I don't need to do that. And then later that night, I came in and I sat down in the office because I was meditating, and then took a nap in the bedroom, and I was like, I just did this, and I'm doing this, and this, and this. And I said, now I'm in my Virgo energy. So we joke about these things. But that, again, here's something that maybe you haven't considered. If you're in a relationship, especially if you're married, look up their natal chart and see how their energy works to help you understand more about your own energy, but to also help you see where their energy is helping teach you a different way of being. So my husband, with his Virgo energy, has helped teach me how to connect to my progressed rising sign, because I have learned that it is part of my nature now to look things up online, to do a lot of research, to be in that flow, and to be very meticulous about things. And that has helped me dramatically to know the steps and to keep moving forward, but also has helped me with practical applications and streamlining processes. This Virgo energy with assess the situation is beautiful for you guys and this process. So our final closing messages, we have the sacred waters, nourishment, replenishment, health, rest, and self-care. And that is Virgo energy as well, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And then we have Mother Rose, returning to each other, compassion and humanity. I love that. Yes. Okay. So if you have been going through a hard time, and no judgment here because I do understand it, this is saying that if you assess the situation and then you go deep into it and you see what it is that is really causing the conflict, is it something from the past that is just coming back and rearing its ugly head? Can you work on it? Can you perfect your ability to overcome this and keep your mind clear on it, instead of resisting this change of, okay, maybe I should see this in a different way. Maybe I should approach this in a different way. You also are being called to allow yourself to rest, to nourish yourself, to rejuvenate yourself. Virgo rules the 6th house, and I will always say the 6th house, while it is the house of health and service and work, it is the house of self-care, because you can't do any of those things if you're not caring for yourself. And Virgo is a deeply self-care energy. When it says returning to each other with compassion and humanity, sometimes cleansing yourself and clearing your energy, resting, taking care of yourself helps you realize where you need to be compassionate to yourself and to others, and how to come back together when there is conflict and strife in order to bring harmony and peace and balance. All right, pile 3. I almost called you guys pile 1. Pile 3. Thank you so much for being here. I am truly honored and blessed to bring forth these messages for you. I hope they helped, and if they resonated, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell up in the corner so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Leave a comment down below and let me know how this resonated, how things are going. I really do care, and I do want to hear it. And I want to say thank you so much to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection. Thank you to Spirit for channeling these messages down and through so that it can reach the collective for awareness, healing, happiness, joy, the whole night. And I want to say thank you so much to you, Pile 3. Pile 3s, you always just kind of knock my socks off, and I am so deeply honored to be here with you guys. Thank you again. I love, love, love you guys. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. If you chose the 4th card, you chose the Ace of Pentacles. And I absolutely love this particular Ace of Pentacles because it actually has a kind of nod to the Queen of Pentacles in Rider-Waite Tarot with the rabbit. And that is an essence of nurturing that you don't normally find in Pentacle energy. And with Pentacles, we're talking about the earthly plane. We're talking about finances, money, abundance, prosperity. We're talking about the different projects that you work on. Now, the stone that is with this card is the Lemurian quartz that I have. And every Lemurian quartz is called a seed crystal. And it is imbued with energy and information. And they say that each one is particular and specific to the person that receives it. So it doesn't matter where you are, when, or how you get the crystal, because there is divine interaction at play. Now, the reason why I love this one in particular, as it obviously it's the one that called out to me, but every time I look at it, I see what is inside of it. And many people could feel as though, well, this is, you know, like a dud kind of Lemurian crystal because it's got rust, it's got lines of dirt. But then at the same time, if you look at it the right way, it almost looks like galaxies and stars inside. If you look at it another way, it's almost as if this specific Lemurian quartz is imbued with earth energy, even though Lemurian quartz feels very extraterrestrial to me most of the time. And that's because the history surrounding Lemuria, as you know, it's mythological in nature to the logical and the rational mind. But if you dig into your heart, the mythology and the history surrounding Lemuria is really about beings from outside in the galaxies coming to Earth to help build something, to help nurture this place. This new beginning that you're seeking answers on has everything to do with nurturing the place that you have in your life, the place that your life has in the world and in the collective. But there is this deep nurturing energy that you usually don't interact with when it comes to the Pentacles energy. All right, Excuse the noise, guys. I'm going to readjust my lighting here because I want to make sure that this is visible for you up here in the corner. All right. So my camera keeps jumping around whenever I set cards up in the corner. So I apologize for the continual focus and refocus with my autofocus. So with this Ace of Pentacles, the new beginning that you're seeking an answer on, it has everything to do with finances, with your place here in the world, with, you know, what it is that you're nurturing in your life. So we're going to do a 5-card spread, and it's going to give us, or give me, the context of the question that you're asking, as well as the past, the present, and the future energies, and the potential outcome. And I know the cards are kind of skewed. Don't worry, I will get those situated soon. So, here we go. Okay. I just heard your guide say, flip them all. I don't know if it's because Pentacle energy is usually really slow, and when you're working on things in terms of Pentacles and the Earth energy, things tend to move really slow. So your guides are kind of like, nope, we're going to rush this along here, and we're going to see what we find. So let's just, I'm going to go with what I heard your guide say, which is just flip them all. So we are, oh my goodness. Okay. The question you're literally asking about is the Queen of Pentacles. Just like I said, the energy I was picking up. The past energy is the Page of Swords. The present is the Two of Wands. And the future is the Ten of Pentacles. So, let's find out the potential outcome. The King of Swords. Interesting. So, essentially, the question that you're asking has everything to do with your higher spiritual calling and grounding it into the physical world. Now, there is a repeating pattern of rabbits here. There are 3 rabbits and 3 dogs. So the number 3 may be quite significant in your life. You may be seeing 333, 33, 33, 33, 13, just any kind of variation of the number 3. Or seeing sets of 3 things randomly, like in these cards, 3 rabbits, or seeing, say, like 3 squirrels running around, or 3 birds. Anything that comes in sets of 3s are your guide's way of telling you you're on the right track, you're moving in the right direction. Now, this Queen of Pentacles, I love her crown because it actually gives me a lot of King Triton vibes from The Little Mermaid, which some of you, that may be one of your favorite Disney movies. If it is, that was one of mine growing up as well. That and Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is still my favorite. I'm a book nerd by nature, and I resonate with Belle so deeply. But this Queen of Pentacles is very unique. She is very much in her own element, but she is, again, nurturing this rabbit. And rabbits can be very finicky creatures. They tend to spook easily, and they do these sprints, and then they get tired and worn out. And you see this on the Two of Wands, where you have the hare, and the hare is literally, it's almost like the tortoise and the hare is standing at the threshold of the race, knowing it has the world in its hands, knowing its course. But in the past, you were dealing with a lot of messages and feeling really out of your depth, feeling as though you didn't really quite know which way was up. You weren't really sure whether what you were hearing was right for you, whether it was for you. There's just kind of an essence of almost a naivety surrounding discernment, as though you have been learning discernment finally. And now you're asking, have I grown enough that I have now taken on the Queen energy? Have I now grown enough that I have established myself? Am I beyond this struggle and questioning and doubt? Am I beyond this rapid change and rapid movement and knee-jerk reaction? And really what I'm seeing here is this essence with the Ten of Pentacles for the future, along with the King of Swords. What that's telling me is you're asking about the Queen of Pentacles. Excuse me. You're asking about the Queen of Pentacles, but it's more so the focus being on the Divine Feminine is one thing that is really, truly important, but how is your Divine Masculine doing? Because if your Divine Masculine is stuck in the hare energy instead of embracing the tortoise energy and knowing that slow and steady wins the race, then you're going to burn out, is what I just heard. Don't burn out. But there's this also essence of understanding that you have grown and matured along your journey. You have come into a place in which you know what you want and you have that set. These actually look like greyhound dogs to me, and greyhound dogs are used in the dog races. And the greyhound dogs actually are the ones that chase a fake rabbit. How ironic is that? You don't need to chase abundance. Abundance finds you. There's this essence of you don't have to keep running anymore. Embody the energy of that slower pace and understand that the more that you nurture the things that you feel are yours or you're called to without trying to race forward, but give it the time, give it the love, give it the nurturing that it needs. It's through doing this that you really move into this understanding and awareness. And with the King of Swords following here, a lot of this, there are no cups on it. So this is a very unemotional nature, except there's such a deep intensity of nurturing and love and care. With this Queen of Pentacles, it almost has an essence of the Queen of Cups as well. This King of Swords is telling you that in time you're going to get the clarity that you're seeking. And it's going to be an action-oriented clarity. It's going to be a clarity about what steps to take, where to move, how to move forward, what to do next, because you're going to know that you have grounded your purpose and your place here in the world into the physical world by nurturing yourself, nurturing your passions, nurturing the things that you are afraid of, and allowing yourself to live with the fear that you hold without the fear having any control over you. So this is the El Qui, I believe is how you pronounce it. I could be horribly wrong. I do apologize if I am. And it is the She Who deck, and I have been pulling these to denote your divine feminine energy. I apologize for the yawn. I have been up since 3 a.m. and it's almost 11 a.m. and so I'm a little bit sleepy here. But the first one we have is She Who Brings Light. Blanche, light, serenity, and a beacon. And I'm seeing here that she's got these very unique colored feathers that look very much like peacock feathers in her hair, and vines wrapped around her head as well. And she actually looks to me like an elf with pointed ears. So this is saying that you're standing in your own uniqueness. You're standing in the beauty of who you are, and you're allowing that to be fully embraced and held in loving regard here in the world. A light like yours is so unique and so beautiful and such a blessing that it is your peace of mind and your calm that really shines forth more than anything. So to me, that is the rabbit, the dogs, the runner, the chaser, all of this. And this can be in relationships. This can be in your physical world, like your working world. This can be in just your own mental state of mind, where you've got this runner and chaser dynamic. But you don't need to have that, because when you calm yourself and you come to center and you come to your grounded nature and you embrace all of who you are, now you're nurturing yourself, and that serenity that you find shines forth, and things just come to you. Just like the world and the vines are wrapping around this figure, the world wants to wrap you in its opulence, in its abundance, in its love, in its caring, in its nurturing. And then we have She Who Rises Up, Pearl, empower, uplift, and elevate. Absolutely. I am not at all surprised to see this, especially with the consideration that what I feel when I'm sitting here talking to you and talking about your energy and feeling your energy is this essence of being uplifted and being empowered. And I am getting that just from touching your energy. And I can see right now that you're asking, you're coming to spirit, you're coming to your guides, you're coming to this channel, to this reading, because you want that confirmation. You want to know definitively from something or someone or entities that you trust. And that is beautiful. It is admirable. Please don't let anyone ever make you feel small for coming to watch tarot readings or anything like that. It doesn't make you naive to listen to these messages. And you have really, truly grown long and hard and far enough, and the journey hasn't been easy for you to overcome this mentality that maybe I'm just fooling myself. Maybe I'm just not meant for this. Maybe the messages aren't for me. Maybe the messages I hear I'm not meant to share. Anything of the sort. No, honey, you hold the world in your hand. You hold the world in your hand, and you have the ability to move into your future and do that rapidly. Making sure that you give yourself the serenity and the peace and the calm that you need, because the more that you do that, the more you elevate yourself. And as you elevate yourself, you elevate others. This pearl is saying, like, when you realize that you are the pearl, a pearl is formed from a clamshell, and the clam stays closed, and it is, all the dirt wears and wears and wears away. And I don't know all the technicalities of it, but I know it takes time, and there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Spirit, can I have some help with it? It's not tension. It's, two things rubbing together. Friction. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. There's a lot of friction that has to occur in order to make this pearl what it is meant to be. So in order to get to She Who Rises Up, and remember, this is not gender specific. This is about your divine feminine. We all have divine feminine and divine masculine within us. So this is your divine feminine. In order to get to She Who Rises Up, in order to get to Pearl, you have to go through a lot of things that test you, that wear at you, that break you down in order to build you up. And sometimes that comes from relationships. Sometimes that comes from not knowing the proper dynamic in the relationship. Sometimes that comes from a seemingly constant battle of giving and taking, and learning when to give and when to take, learning when to step back and step away, and learning when to move forward, and learning how to embrace your light and shine that light out into the world. And the more that you shine your light, the more that you empower others, the more you uplift others, the more you elevate others. As you do that, you do the same for yourself. But you don't get here without there being struggles. So let's find out what you have for the Moon Manifestation card. We have the full moon in Pisces with forgive. This has been an ongoing theme through the collective as well as through this entire reading. In all the piles, there has been something about forgiveness that has come through. Now, forgiveness is one of the harder things for us to do. And we've got two, what look like two beta fish here. With beta fish, the females are, I believe it's the females are the aggressors, and they will attack because it's their domain. This is about realizing that you don't have to be on the defensive all the time, and that it's possible for you to forgive yourself, but also to forgive others, and to know that we are all doing the best that we can at any given point in time. Now, this is a huge essence of forgiving yourself brings out more light. You need to forgive yourself for those moments where you felt like that Page of Swords, where you felt like you were being childish and naive, where you felt like you were being foolish for trusting someone, for believing someone, for loving someone, for believing something of yourself, or for getting involved with someone, for allowing someone else's opinions and beliefs to shape or change your own when it went against who you are within. It's okay to forgive yourself. It's okay to forgive others. You're not doing it to excuse what was done. You're doing it in order to give yourself the grace that you deserve and to release the bonds of the other person from you. Finally, we have the first quarter moon in Taurus and release control. Now, this is one of the hardest things to do when you are here for pentacle energy. And there's a lot of pentacles out here right now. It's split half and half, but the other half doesn't have a counterbalance. It's multiples. So you've got 3 earth, you've got 1 fire, and 2 air. There's no water, but there's no counterbalance to outweigh the heaviness of the pentacles in this spread. What that means essentially is the pentacles energy can be a controlling energy. The King of Swords can be a controlling energy. It's about the way that you feel secure and the way that you feel safe. And Pentacles energy is about security. It's about abundance, prosperity. If you don't feel that way, you can too easily get into that runner and chaser mode. But one of the best ways to do that, to get into that energy, is to allow yourself to release control. Release control of outcomes, release control of results, release control over how other people perceive you, how things are going to play out or shake out in your life. Release the control that you feel surrounding whether or not something is going to happen or isn't going to happen, and whether or not other people will perceive you as you know yourself to be. Especially with this Queen of Pentacles, what I'm feeling is that you don't need to be here necessarily to ask if you've actually gotten to this point as the Queen of Pentacles, because you already know you have. Now, I'm not saying that you being here is a bad thing. If you want to click out because you got your confirmation, and thank you. But you being here isn't a bad thing, because you're making sure that you know where you stand at all times. And I just saw 22:22 on my clock. So we have Whispers of Mother Earth, again with the Earth energy. Creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel. And then, oh, whoa, you guys got a lot of these Rose Oracles. I wouldn't normally take all of them, but Spirit and your guides really are calling for it. Then we have the Grandmothers. Remember your root, perspective, and trust the weavings. Sabrosa. I don't know why it came out like that, but I don't know. Hidden in plain sight, mysteries, learning, and teaching. I'm going to put it over here. And then the Rose Thread, inner call, soul-led, the mystic, and living courageously. So what I'm picking up from this is first of all, there are a lot of different energies in this reading. However, they're all somewhat tied together. because this Trust the Weaving card is saying that sometimes we can't see what's being woven into our lives, and it just means that we have to allow ourselves the trust to let it happen, to let it play out. This forgiveness card is popping out at me really deeply, especially with the grandmother's card. You may have grown up in a family dynamic in which you have been diminished for so long that you don't know how to be your truest self. And it's okay to forgive yourself. It's okay to forgive your family line. That helps heal the line, and that helps you move forward. Some of you want to teach. Some of you want to live the mystic path. And the mystic path, if you don't know what the mystic path is, and it's very hard to pinpoint one specific thing, but it is the middle place. So people talk about a pathway of light and a pathway of darkness. The mystic path would be the middle ground, the gray area. The mystic path is one in which no one can actually say what it is, because it's different for everyone and it's contradictory in nature. But if you feel called to being the mystic, and especially right now, because this mystic energy is very strong with Neptune about to go into retrograde, that mystic energy is very strong. It does take a lot of courage, especially when you have a lot of earth energy, because if you're very, very grounded and very practical and very pragmatic, embracing the mysticism, embracing the channeling and the mysteries of life, embracing and changing the perspective, because you know the roots that you came from, or learning about the roots that you came from, and I mean generations back. Like, go 15 generations back in your family tree and then see what your truest roots are. Go back as far as you can. I have traced my ancestry using myheritage.com, and I'm not affiliated, but if you feel so called to it, this is definitely something you should do, is trace your ancestry back on there and see what you find. I've traced mine back to, I believe it was the 1100s, or 1100s in one line and I think 900s in the other. So there is a lot of information on that site for you to be able to see, truly see where your genetic ancestry is. That helps get you grounded into this world. And that, for some of you, is very, very important, because when you're leading a mystic life, when you're embracing the mysteries of everything and you're a channel, it is really, really crucial and essential for you to get grounded, to ground everything you're doing here into the physical. When you are more in touch with your roots, going all the way back, you can see that the blood that is flowing through your veins has been flowing through the veins of generations for centuries, for millennia. It has been flowing through for more years than not. You are as ancient as the ground that you walk on, if not more. You are as ancient as the ocean waters. And you are as connected to this earth as all of the things are. Just like you are as connected to this earth and this plane and this realm as the waters that flow through the world to provide us with nourishment, as the sun that lights the world and provides us with light. You are a lighthouse, a mystical, magical lighthouse. Some of you may actually be called to the Fae, the Tuatha De Danann, or the Sidhe, Sidhe. That is the fairies, as we will call them, fairies. The Fae. You may have Fae blood running through your veins without realizing it. Many of us have Celtic heritage and we just don't realize it. Whatever you feel called to, drawn to, pulled towards, that is part of your essence. For those of you who resonate with the being drawn to fairies or fae, know that that essence makes you kind of shimmer in your aura. I'm seeing like an aura that has almost glitter in it. So when you move differently, it sparks, and that can create kind of a beacon for the fae to come and hang out. And I haven't worked with them a lot. I have here and there. There are plenty of stories out there of people who have, but they can be very mischievous, and that can be very frustrating. And a lot of that is likely tied to something in your childhood in which you really did play with the fairies in the forests, in the trees, and in the wild, untamed grasslands. I'm getting an essence of an almost childlike energy of creation here. And that this Whispers of Mother Earth, creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel. Okay, that card, I'm not going to lie, that card is literally me. But what I'm picking up more and more with this is there's this essence of childlike play to this card. As in, who says that you can't embrace a creative journey that is mystical and magical, that you just create words that build worlds? Because you can. Some artists do this. They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Actually, the artist behind the Lion Strider Tarot, Ciolo, I believe is how you say it. I could be butchering it. I tend to do that. Thompson. Her whimsical nature on these cards, while at the same time capturing the essence of a lot of the emotions and the fears and the worries and the hopes and the dreams of these cards, is it's so beautiful to witness, to read these cards. The same as Rebecca Campbell's Rose Oracle is a soft, beautiful essence. And Yasmin, I think it's Boland. I could be wrong. I don't have the box for it in here. The Moon Manifestation cards, when I touch them, I can feel that power and knowing that there is deep guidance, and the essence of this is manifestation and bringing forth that which will be. All of these things, they carry these essences, these energies, these beautiful things and pieces of them. When we touch them, when we interact with them, you have the ability to create and do that with your creations, to create an understanding and awareness, something that will empower others, that will be a beacon of light, whatever it is that you want to create. It will require you to be courageous. Nothing comes without some element of courage. And with the amount of rabbits and the greyhounds here, there is this understanding that fear is a big proponent of this. Fear is a big proponent of what you're asking, what you're struggling with, what you're aiming at overcoming and achieving and bringing forth into the world. How to overcome fear, how to live a fearless life, and not truly fearless, but living your life without the fears controlling and running the show. A great, great book for you guys to check out, forgive me, is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She talks about, she gives this beautiful analogy about creation in a state of fear, in which she talks about creating, and I just saw 33:23 on my clock, but she talks about creating with fear, and she knows, hey, I'm afraid of this. So you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Sit down with your fear and say, hi, fear. I know you're here. I understand why you're here. I thank you for helping shape me and change me and mold me and all that you do for me. But I want you to know this is where we're headed. You may feel fear about where we're headed, but we're going to go there anyway. So you can take a back seat. You are not going to be a backseat driver, however. So be back there. Understand that I respect your presence. You respect me. And we are just going to continue moving forward. You can lodge complaints at any rest stops. I may be expanding upon it, but you get what I mean here. It's about learning how to walk hand in hand with your fear. Forgiving yourself for feeling those fears and for allowing those fears to control you, to hold you back. Now you can give yourself that forgiveness, give others forgiveness, but release control over the things that you need to release control over, but also release the interactions with others that make you feel controlled until you know whether it is a healthy interaction or not. There's so many messages coming in for you guys right now. And the funny thing is I have done readings with way more cards and way more intricate cards. These are so simplistic in nature, and it's the simple that brings forth the most that I have found. That I felt like was a very strong message for some of you. Some of you may resonate with oh my gosh, my brain just shut off completely. ADHD brain is not fun. Some of you may resonate quite deeply with the spirit animal, the phoenix. You may have Scorpio energy. And that's really prominent with this Taurus card because Scorpio is the opposite sign. Alternately, you may have Virgo energy, the opposite sign of Pisces. You may have issues where you need to forgive a Virgo or a Scorpio. That is also possible. The best way that you can do that is by embracing the opposite energy that is being gifted to you. Now, both the first quarter moon and the full moon are both action-oriented cards. It's the arising of divine masculine in the first quarter moon. And in the full moon, it's just the illumination of all of the divine masculine energy. That's why we feel more energized around the full moon time. So this is allowing you to really embrace a healthier divine masculine. The King of Swords can be a very clear, concise ruler. He can speak his truth with love and with presence of mind that won't cut someone down, but will be cutting. It will be straight to the point and exactly what the truth is, and takes no prisoners in that. There is only truth, and truth will out. But understand that your truth is your truth, and it isn't always other people's. Subjectivity is a huge factor here. And I don't know why I needed to mention that, but some of you may have been dealing with the difference between subjectivity and objectivity and really struggling with it. If you have, I feel you. I have been there. I have survived it. I have been there a second time and survived it. I have been there a third time and survived it. You can get through this differentiating between objectivity and subjectivity, especially when it comes to your personal life. You can. I feel so strongly, Pile 4, as though this reading has been all over the place. Absolutely all over the place. And I am going to tell you guys a little secret. When I do readings like this, I get to this point where I know the messages are done coming through and I want to force it, and then I know I need to stop. I also get really insecure about, well, maybe it's not a good message. And every single time I felt like that, I have to push through my fear and post it anyway, because whether it is for someone or not, I am sitting here, I am channeling, and I know when I shut my channel up, like close the channel for this reading, I'm not going to remember most of what I said here, which means it's not for me. It's a message outwardly for everyone else. And most of the time when I do this, it's these piles that I get the most feedback, like, oh my gosh, this is so synchronistic. Oh my gosh, this ties in here. This ties in here. I can't ever expect it, but it is always a beauty to witness. So if you're ever feeling insecure about your channeling, your writing, your artistry, your creativity, what you know, what you're teaching others, your perspective, anything like that, trust the calling of your soul. Trust how empowered you are. Rise up out of that and share your light with the world, because you are the lighthouse. You are the Queen of Pentacles. You are asking it in mostly a yes or no sense that I can pick up. Yes, you are ready. Yes, it is coming. Yes, you are her now. You are him now. It non-gender specific. You are who you have been fighting and aiming and trying and working at becoming. You are. You are no longer naive. You have learned discernment. You have learned what you need to learn. You are ready for the next step, and you know the next step. Wow. Pile fours. You guys always just knock my socks off. Rock me. Rock me like a hurricane. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a How I Met Your Mother reference. If you guys haven't watched it, it's one of the funniest, dumbest shows ever. I love it to death. Me and my whole family do. So, all right, pile four. I'm going to stop talking. I love your energy. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you so much to Spirit, to your spirit guides and my guides for getting us connected, for bringing forth these messages, and, you know what, for sharing our gifts between each other. It's just awe-inspiring to me. It really is. If this resonated for you guys, go ahead and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And then check out the description box below and the comment section. I do want to hear back from you guys. I always want to hear back, but in this one in particular, just because I don't know how this one went. And I'm curious. But in the description box, the comments box is for you. The description box, well, the comments box is for me. The description box is for you. Because in the description box, there are links to my books on my Amazon author page. There are also links to, there's one to my program, Breaking Boundaries, Finding Freedom. That is where it's all self-discipline program to help you kind of reacquaint you with yourself and reawaken your creativity. It's really great if you've hit a creative slump, or you feel as though you have been put in a box by the world, by other people, or you just don't know who you are. It's fantastic. I am actually looking at expanding that. But how I'm going to do that, I will leave to your imagination, because I haven't decided. And then below that, you'll see a link to book a personal reading and links to donate to my channel. For everybody who donates, thank you so much. You guys are rock stars. You keep this channel going. You make sure that I get new decks and everything, which all of these are. So thank you so, so much. I am so appreciative. All right, pile fours. I freaking love you guys. I always love my pile fours. Even when I can't film my pile fours because of tech issues, I haven't ran into it today. So thank you so much. All right, I will see you guys all next time. I love you. Bye.